Include Derrick Anderson, who did 6 tours of duty before running for Congress in Virginia. Jay Collins, a Purple Heart recipient who served for more than 2 decades. He's running in Florida. Plus Pat Harrigan, a West Point grad with 2 Bronze Stars, and Christian Castelli, whose service included 5 tours in Afghanistan. Both are running in North Carolina. It's a whole lot of dudes on our screen right now. I love it. Warriors, Green Berets. It's great to see all of you. Congressman, let me start with you. Crenshaw has enlisted a lot of Navy SEALs. Navy SEALs get a lot of the headlines. It's time for the quiet professionals. Tell me why it's important that Green Berets be sent to Congress.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much, Pete. And number one, I need reinforcements up here. But number two, look, in the wake of Afghanistan and that debacle, Ukraine and what's going on, Iran and North Korea marching towards a bomb, still the threat of global terrorism, and China is our greatest adversary. We need members of Congress who understand how to hold the Pentagon accountable, how to hold the administration accountable. But more importantly, it's the ethos that they bring: leadership, teamwork, followership, discipline. And look, Pete, if we're all willing to die for that flag, we'll roll up our sleeves and take the tough votes. So 2022 is going to be the year of the GOP veteran. If you want to support these guys, go to GOPfrontlinepatriots.com. And most importantly, we can't let the SEALs hog the spotlight. We need some true quiet professionals in there to get the job done.
I knew you'd get that in for sure. Let me say this. You're exactly right. There's nothing like watching a vet or someone who's worn the uniform ask questions of folks in the Pentagon. They're not used to those types of questions. Let me go around the horn with the question of why you're running and what you hope to do in Washington, D.C. Derrick Anderson, let me start with you.
Hey, thanks again, Pete, for having me. The catalyst for me to run for office, and specifically in Virginia's 7th Congressional District, my home district, was watching the bots withdrawal in Afghanistan. I lost 5 of my guys, 2 of my Green Berets in Afghanistan, and I was pretty disgusted and disheartened at the Biden administration's lack of leadership during, and as we've seen since. And so that's what catapulted me into this race to run for Congress in Virginia's 7th Congressional District. And the Green Berets, our motto is one of them, besides quiet professionals, is De oppresse libere, which is to free the oppressed. And if we see everything going on in our country right now, whether it's crime spiking through the roof, whether it's record high inflation, whether it's a border that's causing serious national security issues, after 20 years of war in Afghanistan, Iraq, and in Syria, us Green Berets decided that it was time to step up. After all of that time and seeing everything that was going on, we took an oath to serve and defend our Constitution and our country. And so that's why you're seeing so many of my brothers that are up on the screen right now that are stepping up when our country is in truly a time of need.
For sure. Jay Collins, same question. You're running in Florida. Why are you running?
Well, first off, Pete, thank you for having me on. And,
of course.
That's a simple question. As Derrick mentioned there, we've seen a lot around the world. We have a lot of unique experiences. And when you sit back and you watch where our country finds itself right now, the economy is tanking. Inflation's through the roof. Our border is a sieve. People are just leaking through on a daily basis. And then you talk about the withdrawal from Afghanistan and the projected weakness on the international stage. I think you see that those of us who sacrificed some remember, in our hearts, those who sacrificed all. And we didn't lose those friends and our allies and give up so many of our freedoms over time to watch our nation torn apart from within by failed leadership and failed policies. In the end, it comes down to those who can, should. And, who is it you send? You send me. We're volunteers. We're ready to serve our nation and continue it. I'm running in Florida 15, just northeast of Tampa Bay. This is our home. It's where our children are going to grow up, and God willing, we're going to grow old.
It's true. You fight over there for the freedoms we cherish here, and then we watch them slip away. Pat Harrigan, you're running in North Carolina. Why are you running?
Hey, Pete, you're a combat veteran, and we all know as combat veterans and as special operators what it means to put service before self. And not only do we understand what that means, we've demonstrated it time and time and time again. And the problem that we have today is that we have self-interested career politicians in Washington who consistently are putting their own self-interests above the interests of the United States of America and the American people. And as we look around and we see that we're leading ourselves down the road to failed outcomes. we can't do this anymore. Enough is enough. This isn't actually something I think any of us truly want to do. It's something that we're called to do because we want to make sure that we're not part of the first generation of Americans that leaves the next generation of Americans behind.
Yeah, you're right. Compelled, feeling compelled to enter the race. I hear that a lot from vets. That's not what you thought your path might be, but here we are. Christian Castelli, again, why are you running?
Again, I'd have to echo what Pat said. I feel compelled to run. You know, as a young Ranger, I was taught a 3-word mantra: proactive, dynamic leadership. As a Green Beret, I was taught leadership, decision-making, problem-solving, and that's what what we bring to the table as Green Berets. The men on this screen have sacrificed greatly. They've risked everything for our country, and they have a set of skills that we can bring to Congress. And given that opportunity, I think this is where America needs to get more folks with our type of background activated. And, I'd like to tell Mike Waltz, we got reinforcements on the way, Mike. Continue to hold down the fort. We're coming to help you out.
I believe it. I believe it. Thank you all. And I will note, looking at those photos, you all have sharper haircuts now than when you had in the Green Berets. It's just sort of a rite of passage. I get it. Let's get to one topic real quick around the horn, and I'll end with you, Congressman. We'll get the candidates to answer first. Here is House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer. He was talking about the war in Ukraine and energy at home. Take a listen to this.
It's unfortunate that at a time of war that we spend all the time blaming our own president. We have the problem because Russia, second, third producer of petroleum products in the world, is an irresponsible dictatorship run by one man, essentially. I know there's a lot of politics here, but we're at war.
So, Derrick, we'll go around the horn pretty quick. He says we're at war and criticisms of energy are unfounded. How would you approach that as a congressman?
That's absolutely ridiculous, Pete. At the end of the day, gas prices have been soaring prior to the conflict in Ukraine. And that's the bottom line. That's a fact. And as the Democrats and the Biden administration have been doing over and over again, they want to walk away from the facts. They want to, push off the issues onto something else. They're a day late and a dollar short on almost everything that they get their hands on, whether it's Afghanistan, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's inflation or what have you. And this is just another ploy by the Democrats and specifically the Biden administration to really push off the issues and kind of divert from each crisis that they get their hands on.
And Jay, that's a provocative phrase, saying we're at war.
Yeah, Pete, that sure is. I'm a big fan of words have meaning. Pretty sure I haven't seen Congress vote us into war openly against Russia right now. But let's dial back and look at numbers a little bit here. When Biden came into office, gas was, I believe, $2.38 a gallon. Right now, we find a high average price of $4.45 a gallon across this country, and I believe diesel was $5.56, as you mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. What has Biden done? Well, he's doing everything he said he was going to do, right? With this new Green Deal and all the far left legislature they're trying to push, they stopped Keystone. They've stopped the lease sales on federal and oil. They've stopped drilling on federal lands, and now the permitting is being viewed through the lens of a social cost. He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do, and in the end, I want to use 3 words. It's accountability, honor, and integrity. The Biden administration is not showing any honor. They have no integrity, and in the end, he's passing accountability on for every decision he makes and all the failures that he is truly responsible for.
It's always blame somebody else.
That's what Green Berets stand for.
Exactly right. Pat, same question. You've been in war. What does that do to say that and then place the blame somewhere else?
Well, it's definitely frustrating, Pete. And I'll tell you this. What Green Berets do is they plan. They plan for every contingency. And from a national perspective, having energy independence and not being reliant upon our foreign adversaries for our energy needs is absolutely paramount. And as the other Green Berets on this panel have said, President Biden has done exactly what he promised to do. And we're now shifting and deflecting blame to a conflict. And the reality is what the U.S. government is doing and the Biden administration is doing is simply asking the American people to suck up these costs on their back right now. And they're just deflecting the issue from the true cause, which is a lack of preparedness with our national energy policy.
Christian, exit answer.
Yeah, so I think Steny Hoyer is nothing but a career politician. He's been in Congress for 40 years. This is just a diversionary tactic to take the focus off of the real issues like the crisis at the southern border. We have a lot of issues here at home that need priority and focus. And once again, this is just another diversionary tactic, which proves that he's a career politician skilled at doing that.
Congressman, you listen to all this, you must feel like a proud papa almost.
Look, these guys, Pete, have been shot at literally all over the world their entire adult lives, and yet they're willing to step up again. They'll be damned. I think I can speak for all of them. If we're going to have our kids growing up in a world led by socialists here in the United States or Chinese communists around the world, this is a fight for our country's future, and these guys are willing to come up here and fight and apply their skills where it matters most. And again, anybody who wants to support them, GOPFrontlinePatriots.com. We need your help. We need your supporting fires.
Good for you, and hopefully you do have some reinforcements, all of you. Michael Waltz, Derrick Anderson, Jay Collins, Pat Harrigan, Christian Castelli, thanks for your prior service, and I hope you get another bite at it. Really do. Thank you all so much.
All right.
Thank you.
It's a good group of guys.